describing this water column flood as the worst disaster ever to hit Malaysia. At least 2,000 homes in Kupang were hit by flash floods after heavy rain lasted more than 3 hours this afternoon. The strongest floods are in the villages near Baling. Strong currents wash away cars, houses, nothing gets tired against the current.
Biar tu kalau habis. Memang tak ada. Tak tahu belakang tu ada orang ni, tak tahu ah. Ni dah.
The resident of nearby Kupang described today's floods as the worst in memory, as strong currents carried mud, debris and uprooted trees from a nearby hill to at least 2 villages. Flash flooding was a common occurrence in Kupang, the worst hit in the area. Most of the victims did not have time to react because everything happened very quickly.
Ya susah habis.
Houses were flooded by flood waters at 6 p.m. after Sungai Kupang overflowed its banks and overwhelmed villages. According to preliminary information, at least 2,000 houses in Kampung Iboy and Kampung Tanjung Luas were damaged.
Pelayan kau yo, pelayan. Oh, ayat deras tau.
Rescuers were sent to the affected areas after they began receiving emergency calls at 6 p.m. Among the affected areas are Kampung Iboy and Kampung Tanjung Luas, which received tap water from a nearby river. Monitoring is still ongoing and measures are being taken to evacuate residents if the situation is deemed dangerous for them.
Habis ayat susah.
Keadaan dalam rumah sekarang banjir paling besar.
The villager said that the electricity was cut off and he still does not know the condition of his house, located about 200 meters from Sungai Kupang. A tropical depression hit the east coast of peninsular Malaysia, causing torrential downpours throughout the peninsula, and many states on the peninsula were affected by the flooding.
Dah hanyut habis semua. Ini tiang elektrik balik rumah Pasuli.
Declared a once-in-a-century disaster, this is the country's worst flooding in terms of displaced residents since the 2014-2015 Malaysian floods. Declared a once-in-a-century disaster, this is the country's worst flooding in terms of displaced residents since the 2014-2015 Malaysian floods. The Malaysian Meteorological Department, MMA or Met Malaysia, has issued an orange warning for all areas of Kelantan and Terengganu.
Keluar dah.
Sama jadi macam ni.
Yang hijau. Ya.
Flood warnings have also been issued by the National Centre for Flood Forecasting and Warning, PRABN, in 2 districts of Kelantan.
Hujan lebat lagi.
Heavy rains are expected to continue for more than 2 days in most places in the northern states of the peninsula, including Perlis, Kedah and Penang.
Live, saya buat secara langsung, secara live di kampung Masjid Ibui. Keadaan banjir.
Thunderstorms, heavy rains and strong winds are expected in some areas, according to the Malaysian Meteorological Department, Met Malaysia.
Hujan masih turun. Tak bisa jadi.
The Kedah Fire and Rescue Service, JBPM, managed to rescue 55 flood victims after their homes were hit by flash floods due to heavy rain. So far, about 11 villages near Sungai Kupang have been found affected, including Camping Bendang Padang, Camping Iboy, Camping Padang Ampang, Camping Tok Saba and Camping Henggis.
Apa dah tercabut?
Heavy rains since midnight last night have flooded 2,000 homes across 3 districts of the state. Recall that this is not the first flood of the year, but the Malaysian authorities called the worst flood of the decade.
Air sungai masih laju deras. Ni yang di sini ni bukan di sungai, sungai di tengah lagi.